Let's talk about body language in whitetail deer, bucks and does, particularly bucks. I want to paint this picture. So, if any of you have a dog, I want you to picture what happens when you yell at your dog. Physically, what does your dog do when you scold your dog? Think about it for a second. The appropriate answer that I want you to think of is your dog cowers, puts its head down, tucks its tail. It's a sign of submission. So picture your dog cowering after you just scolded your pet. So in the woods, you're calling, you vocalize, here comes a deer on the approach, it's a buck, regardless of age class of buck. Typically, I see this in juvenile bucks, maybe into your 3.5-year-old buck age class. Younger deer, definitely I have the luxury of watching this, and you can learn a lot from it before it actually happens. So listen to these words, watch the body language of the deer. Remember, you yelled at your dog and your dog is cowering. So let's hypothetically say, I'm just gonna paint one scenario. You call, here comes a buck on the approach. It stops, it makes a rub, it makes a scrape, it gives you that physical sign of acknowledgement, I'm coming. Continues to come in on the approach, all of a sudden that buck just stops. And it looks and it scans its surroundings, and then all of a sudden you see that buck put his head down a little bit, and you see that tail flick, and he does a 180, and he just gradually walks away. You painted that picture, you called that deer, and what just happened? This is a point where it's very important. Read the room very carefully, head on a swivel. There's a good probability there is another buck present, more dominant, more of a mature age class. It's a physical sign of submission where that younger juvenile age class deer is basically like, yeah, I'm sorry, I just stepped into your domain, I'm gonna leave now, and you see that physical sign of submission. So these are things that you can look for when you're in the woods. If you're calling, if you're rattling, you grunt, doubly, any vocal communication, you blind call a deer in, or if you're just sitting on watch and you haven't made a sound at all, and here comes a buck. If you see that buck give a little bit of a sign of submission, it doesn't blow, it doesn't run, but it's subtle. You see that head go down. That sign of submission is a huge indicator that he either sees, smells, something there gave him the heads up, whether he saw that other buck, he smells that other buck. If he looks around and you see that head go down a little bit, that sign of submission, probably start looking towards that deer's upwind. There's a good chance there's probably a good deer in that direction. So I'm just painting one picture, a couple scenarios, but just the body language of that buck on the approach, regardless of what happened previously. Also keep in mind, if you called, you painted the picture, here comes that buck, you have eyes on one buck, who's to say somebody else isn't coming in? So you can use that other deer to help you read the room and see what else is out there. So just keep that in mind. If you make a call, you blind call, you have physical contact, deer's on the approach, or you're just sitting on watch, read the body language.